Hello everyone and welcome to What Sold video. This is everything that sold from me March 15th to March 21st, and we're going to start with Poshmark because I actually made a Poshmark sale. I know, I am also shocked. So I'm going to lean over here, and it is this Dinsum Korea Mario hoodie short sleeve pocket thing. I have no idea what this actually was supposed to be, but I actually picked this up in a thread-up box. I did not physically buy this myself. I got a men's thread-up box and this was in it. And because of the fact I didn't know if it was officially licensed, I only put it up on Poshmark because that's where I felt safe from Nintendo's eyes. So that is why this sold on Poshmark and only Poshmark, and I was willing to hold on to it. I think this came in actually the first men's thread-up box that I picked up. I have for that box, I think it was $4 buy cost, but I'm so far into the profit from that box just because that box had a Bape sweatshirt in it. Again, I miss the men's boxes. I want them to come back. But it sold on an offer for $17, and I saw that come through. I immediately grabbed it, so I'm very happy with this sale, and yeah, can't go wrong with that. And now we're gonna go over to eBay because eBay is the main bay. And I'm going to start eBay off with a viewer sale. This is Nancy. Nancy, thank you so much. She bought two items for me. She bought this extra large Wonderly top. Wonderly is a brand that is sold at Belk, which is a southern department store, kind of like JCPenney's or Macy's, but not Macy's because Macy's kind of up here and Belk's kind of here. It's like in between JCPenney and Macy's. That's what Belk is. And this was donated to me, I believe, by a family member. And it sold for $13.40 to Nancy. I think I sent off offers. I'm very happy about that. And then she bought this bird book, the National Audubon Society. The little handheld field guides, I will pick them up when I get them at the bins, which is where that came from. It was 25 cents. And so I really appreciate it. Basically, I have 25 cents into everything that I sold to Nancy, and Nancy bought them both for me. So Nancy, thank you very much. I hope you've learned some stuff about birds lately. I know I have so much stuff about birds the last year, partially against my will, but I really appreciate you buying these from me, and thank you so much. And the reason why you're seeing the Wonderly shirt here in this video instead of the Bronco video is because of the fact that she bought a bundle, and I wanted to say thank you to her for everything that she bought and not just one thing that she bought. This is, well, it is and is not a mistake from me. So I picked up this Fred Perry jacket. I got really excited about it because I bought one Fred Perry jacket a long time ago and that sold really fast for $40. This was a vintage Fred Perry jacket, and this had a pretty significant flaw. I have talked about before when picking up vintage to check the elastics. If they make crunchy sounds, don't buy it because that means the elastic is shot. I forgot to check the elastic in this shirt, and the elastic did not make crunchy sounds in the sleeves because the elastic was so far gone it didn't make any sound. It was just it was like a regular sleeve at that point. There was no elasticity left in the sleeve. And I just closed that, and someone still bought it for me for $13, so I still doubled my money, but it wasn't like a $40 or $50 jacket. It was cool, I doubled my money and pretty quickly, and I am perfectly happy with that because I made a mistake. So you would think I would know better as much vintage as I sell. Nope, I still get blinkers on sometimes and completely forget to do the things that I'm supposed to do to make sure I don't make financial mistakes. But that ended up not being that bad of a mistake. This is an item that I picked up at the bins. It's a Zuul, and this was a women's size 18 swim dress. I did put this up on Whatnot and nobody purchased it, but as I said before in all of my Whatnot haul videos or bins videos, everything I pick up from the bins is something that I'd be happy to sell myself because I know it will sell on eBay for me, and this sold pretty soon after I listed it for $14. You know, it's a bins piece, so I probably paid $1 for this. This set of L. Ron Hubbard, I believe, is the individual who founded Scientology, and he was a science fiction writer, if you did not know. Science fiction writer who founded a religion. And I picked these up at the Dab. I paid $1 for each book because I just wanted to try them. I've never picked up any of his science fiction books before, and this is the series that he's most well known for. This is Mission Earth 1 through 3, and so I have $3 into this. It sold for $14.87, so my full asking price. This actually went to the New York Public Library. I guess they were replacing some tattery copies, and they just wanted to do it cheaply because these books are not really in print anymore. So happy to provide some vintage science fiction to the New York Public Library. I thought that was pretty cool. I talked about here before that I've had really amazing luck with 90s Ralph Lauren ties. This is another one. This one is also a Chaps Ralph Lauren tie. This was a 57-inch necktie, so a classic length, modern classic length. Sold my full asking price of $13.87 and the buyer paid shipping. Like, it sold like as soon as I listed it. So I don't know what it is with these 90s Ralph Lauren silk ties, but as soon as I pick them up from the bins and get them listed, they are gone. This is a book I got from the big book buyout I did this summer, so I have 10 cents into this book. It is a Ulysses by James Joyce. Ulysses by James Joyce is one of his classic novels. James Joyce is considered a classic literary figure, and so 10 cents into $8 now. You know, it is $5 to ship this, so I only made a couple dollars, but again, for me, I'm happy with that. If that's not part of your business model, you do you, but I like saving as many books as possible. From that same book buyout, I also picked up this copy of The Fruit Thief by Peter Hanke. Hanke is, I believe, a German author and also considered classic literature. This is $9.87, so I'm perfectly happy to make $4 off of that sale. This is a Free People top. I actually picked this up, I believe, at the bins, and it sold for $13. This was an interesting shirt, as you can see from it being on Karen. Karen is my dress form, by the way, if you are new here. Little interesting top, but I thought it was Free People, and I was getting it for very cheap at the bins, so I gave it a try. It sold for $13. This I picked up at an estate sale. I paid $1 for it. I thought this is super cool. I listened to it multiple times when I was doing my whatnots. This is Taking It to the Limit, which is a promotional record for Kawasaki. So if you bought a 1985 Kawasaki from the dealership, you got a record as a free gift. And it had a whole bunch of like classic music, you know, or cool rock music from the time period, you know, with Rod Stewart and Genesis and Twisted Sister. It was it's a neat record. At the beginning of the record, at the end of the record, it would do like a Kawasaki jingle with like the rubbing of the engine. It was just very funny. I really liked this record, but I'm glad it sold for $9.87. It's free shipping, so it costs $4.13 to ship this. So again, I'm only making $3 or $4, but I got to enjoy this record quite a bit before it sold. Speaking of enjoying something before it sells, this is a Tahari piece. I pick up all linen Tahari when I find it because it sells for me. It doesn't sell for very much, but it does sell, and it sold for $13. This is a women's size small, and I did get to wear this 2 times before it sold, so love Tahari linen pieces, and this is the great time to be listing linen. If you have any in your death pile, dig it out, list it, it will probably sell. This is a part of a big set. No, I did not sell this whole set of dishware for $12.87. This was just when I buy a big set of dishware. This is what I do. I have one picture of all the different kinds of dishes in the set, and then what I do is a variation listing of each item. So I had the sugar and creamer, I have the cups, I have the different size plates or bowls, whatever's in the set, and then they can pick and choose out of it to like build whatever they want. So say for example they broke the sugar and creamer from their set and then also like broke 2 dinner plates. They can just pick those in, and then the more of the set that they buy, the cheaper it gets for them. And I've had a lot of success doing that way. Somebody actually just bought 1 dinner plate from me for $12.87, and I shipped it out. This is how I sell dinnerware. That's how I sell most dinnerware. Not all dinnerware, but this is most of the time this is how I do it, is just as a replacement. And I normally make my prices a little bit cheaper than if they were to go to replacements.com, because then it's more reasonable for them to buy it from me than to buy it from them. This is a brand I will pick up anytime I find it, wherever I find it, because while it does take a little while to sell, it has always sold for over $60 for me, and that is Fen Comfort. Fen Comfort is a German brand. and this is a pair of women's size US 7.5, UK 5.5. Now when you find Thin Comfort out and about, chances are it's going to be in the European sizing, but this one was strange and that it was actually in the UK sizing. It was a UK 5.5, and if it wasn't for the fact that like I looked at them and I was like, these seem really big for a 5.5, because 5.5 is like little feet. But my feet actually fit comfortably in these, and I am definitely not a 5.5. Depending on the stylish shoe, I will fit between a 7.5 and a 9 because I have long skinny feet. So it just depends. So I'm so glad that I did check these so I could list them appropriately. And they sold for my full asking price of $69.87, and I paid $6 for these. So that was a great return on my investment. And the last pair of Thin Comfort shoes I found as well also think sold for over $60 on Poshmark. So I will pick those up whenever I find them. I don't find them very often, just like I don't find Birkenstocks very often. And it's kind of the same quality level there, where it's a nice comfort brand that is German made that has that retains its value pretty well. Another book from that big book buyout, so I have 10 cents into this, sold for my full asking price of $7.87. It is free shipping, so again, I'm only making like $1 or $2 in profit. I'm happy to do that. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Same thing from the big book buyout. Again, I have 10 cents into this. It sold for 10 with free shipping. Perfectly happy with that. This is actually an international sale, and I found this at the bin, so I have 25 cents into this. This is a Seinfeld Script. This actually came with a deluxe, like, Seinfeld series set. So, like, one of the deluxe DVD boxes would have this as an extra bonus thing inside. But I couldn't find the actual DVDs, just found the book that came with it. So 25 cents turned it into $12.87. Again, it cost about $4.13 to ship this, so I still made, you know, $6-7 off of this sale, and I will never see it again because it was an international sale. This is a Tommy Bahama dress. It is a small linen shift dress. I love my linen. I will pick up linen when I find it in most brands because it will sell. The material is what's more important than the brand. The brand does add additional value, but the material is what's most important. It sold for $27.90, and of course the buyer paid for shipping. This is 2 books. Both of these books were bought by the same persons. I have 20 cents into these books because I bought them at that big book buyout. So $20, I turned 20 cents into $20, and it cost $5 to ship these. So I made, you know, 12 bucks. And again, I do free shipping on all my books. I don't lose money on any of the books when I do that. It's a matter of if they buy more books, I make more profit. They buy like 1 book, I will still make a little bit of money, but the profit increases the more books that they buy. And I do encourage people to buy more than 1 book. I do have an offer where if you buy 3 books, you get 1 free. And that is because at that point, it doesn't matter what books they choose in my store, I will be making good profit even giving 1 book for free. This is The Odyssey by Homer, classic work. This is a Barnes & Noble classic. And this sold for $7.87, and I picked this up at the bins. I will pick up Barnes & Noble classics, most Barnes & Noble classics when I find them, because they do consistently sell for me. This was another bins find. I love picking up vintage quilts at the bins. I do check to make sure they're not seriously stained or seriously damaged. I will repair them. Like, for example, this quilt, I repair them. If you don't want to repair them, you can just disclose all of the issues and somebody else might pick it up to repair it. But whenever I pick up one of these vintage quilts, I will check all of the piecing. So the piecing is, you know, if you have a quilt, you'll have 2 patches of fabric together that are joined together. They're considered pieced together. So I will check every single seam, which I guess is the better way to put it for someone who's not a sewist, to make sure that they're all still attached. And I will do that over the entire blanket. And if it's not attached, I will ladder stitch it back together. And if there is a hole in it, I will create a quilted patch for it. And this one just required repiecing, but it did sell pretty much the same week I listed it for $70. I paid $3 for this quilt, and I am so happy about that. I don't find them very often, but when I do find them, I pick them up, and the double wedding ring has been the one that has sold the fastest for me. This is a great book find. I got so excited when I found this. I've talked about in my video when I talked about how to be successful selling books on eBay, like the kind of books I look out for that I know normally carry value. I will link that video up above if you've never watched it and are interested. This is a 1969 edition of Diary of a Witch by Sybil Leek. So this is like, it's got spells in it. It talks about her life as a witch, and if you get the hardcover, it's even more valuable, like the first edition hardcover, but this book sold very quickly after I listed it for $40, and I paid 25 cents for this at the bins. Another book from the Big Book Buyout, I have 10 cents into this. It's the Marx Family Saga by Guistolo, and it sold for $9.24. I probably would not have picked that up if it wasn't new, but I did pick it up because it was new. I've talked about before how I love buying and selling vintage otagiri. Some otagiri sits, some of it sells right away. It just depends on the piece. The stoneware speckled brown mugs that have beach scenes on them, those ones sell the fastest. But I will pick up other otagiri. This is a Moriage vase, which I realized I did not put in the title, which is probably why it took so long to sell. Moriage is when the glaze like is raised. It's not like 3D, but some of the glaze is raised and it has like a 3D effect on it. But I thought that this was cute, and it sold for $12.87, and I paid $1 for this at a thrift store. This is another bins find that I put up on Whatnot and nobody bought it, but when I listed it on eBay, it sold for $16.87, so my full asking price, and I have $1 into this. Another book from the Big Book Buyout, so 10 cents into this book, sold it for $6.69. Now I will pick up Heinrich Böll, even pre-owned, which this one was pre-owned, because of the fact that Heinrich Böll is considered a classic novelist. Normally what I will do is I will lot his books together, but this one I actually was used, and all the other Heinrich Bölls that I found were actually new. So that is why this one got separated. I still made, you know, $1 off of this sale, and I'm still happy to save a beautiful vintage book from the 60s from the landfill. This is a Land's End polo. I found this at an estate sale. I paid $1 for it, and it sold for 10. I bought a big stack of these, so I'm just waiting for them to sell. But because they were $1, I picked them up, and they were also made in the USA. This is another bins find. This is Vineyard Vines, and they were a size 30. Another one I offered up on Whatnot that didn't sell on Whatnot, but sold when I put it up on eBay for $15, and the buyer paid for shipping. Again, I have less than $1 into this because I got it at the bins. This is another bins find, but it kind of sat in my death pile for a while, which, considering how fast it sold, was definitely a mistake. This is Merce. This is the only time I've found Merce. These Catalina travel sweaters sell like that. This is a one size fits most, and it sold literally within 48 hours of me listing it for my full asking price of $39.87. So the Merce Catalina travel sweaters, I knew when I picked it up that it was valuable. I just didn't realize how good the sell-through was, because if I'd known that the sell-through was like as high as it was for this particular style of sweater, I probably wouldn't have let it languish in my death pile for a while. But I'm happy that it did sell when I listed it. Another item I put up on Whatnot, I do pick up kids' clothes occasionally. I'm more likely to pick them up at the bins because the buy cost is so low. But this is a like late 60s, early 70s Girl Scout uniform top. It was a girl's size 16 will actually fit a women's size small, which is what I put in the title, because people can wear this either like their den mothers and they want to have a cute outfit, or they are, you know, going to have it as a Halloween costume. So there's lots of reasons for this. Also, it was super cute. And it sold for $11.90, and I have less than $1 into this because I got it at the bins. This is another item I picked up at the bins in that book buying video that, again, is linked up above. I had talked about advanced reading copies, which are also ARCs. You can use the acronym ARC, Advanced Reading Copy, or UPS, which is an uncorrected proof. These are advanced copies that are sent to reviewers, like for newspapers or BookTube or BookTok, or people that have blogs. It's just, or even bookstores, just to, you know, make it so that there are reviews for the book before it's released, so that way it creates hype and interest in the book to hopefully have a successful launch. This is After That Night by Karen Slaughter, and it sold for $11.90. And a reason why a lot of those are collectible is because of the fact that, like, Again, it's an uncorrected proof, so there might either be errors in it, or there might be like small things changed or chapters that are completely like either added or not there. And also sometimes it's because it has like original artwork on it that is only for the uncorrected proof and was never actually released in the final book. Lots of reasons why ups and arcs are valuable, but that is just some extra information just in case you find them at the bins. Speaking of the bins, I found this at the bins. It was a brand new Soho New York & Company top. It was an extra large. I put it up for sale on Whatnot. It didn't sell there, but it sold when I listed it on eBay for $11.90 on an offer. Of course, the buyer paid for shipping. I don't normally pick up New York & Company unless like the piece is super cute, super on trend for what's trending currently, and or it's new with tags, because I sell mall brand new with tag stuff all the time. Speaking of, here is a Tal Bits piece, another bins find that I picked up and offered on Whatnot. Didn't sell on Whatnot, sold on eBay for $14. And this was a cotton tee. It was a women's size extra small, because again, I pick up all sizes, and I figured at new with tags, it will sell, sold for $14. Perfectly satisfied with that result. This is another piece that sat in my death pile for way too long, mostly because I was using them. I had been using them pretty much all winter long because I'm definitely a soup girly when it's cold outside, and so I finally was like, you know what, I should stop using these and sell them. And so I did. I finally listed them, and they sold like within a week of me listing them, which for vintage glass is pretty great. So this is a bowl number 402 and 403. If you're wondering how I know that, it's literally on the bottom of the bowl, and I paid $18 for these at an estate sale, with the understanding that I would use them until they sold, and then just use them, and then as soon as I listed them, they sold. Not quite how it was supposed to work out, but they sold for $33.89 on an offer, and the buyer paid $14.95 to ship them. I love finding vintage Pyrex, but it's super rare for me to find it with enough margins for me to want to like, or for me to be able to resell them. This next item is a Land's End item. I actually picked this up at the bins. It did not sell when I put it up on Whatnot, but it did sell as soon as I listed it on eBay. It sold for $15, and the buyer paid for shipping. It was a size 6, it was knee length, it was khaki, it was pleated, very schoolgirl vibes. I knew it would sell if I put it up on eBay, and I was right. And the last item is an older item that I finally got to move, which is very surprising to me because it is a Chico size 4. Chico's is different than regular vanity sizing in that a Chico size 4 is actually a 2XL. They have their own special vanity sizing, which is, I have to look up every single time because I always forget. And this was a coral solid linen polo shirt, and it took like 2 years to sell. So I don't know what was up with that, but now that it's getting warm again, it did sell. Sold for $9, and I'm happy that it's moved on to its next home. But that is everything that sold for me the 3rd week of March. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is just what's selling for me. These are the things that I like to sell in my business. I hope your business is doing well, and or you're just having a good spring so far. And I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye! Bye.
Hero, hero. I wanna be a hero, hero.